What causes vintage sports card values to change? Imagine holding a tiny piece of sports history in your hands. Now, what makes that piece worth more or less over time? It all comes down to a few key factors that influence vintage sports card values. First, the basic rule of supply and demand plays a huge role. If only a few cards of a certain player exist and many collectors want them, prices go up. But if lots of similar cards flood the market, prices tend to drop. Next, the player on the card matters a lot. Cards featuring legendary players like Mickey Mantle or Hank Aaron are more sought after because of their historical importance. When these players hit new milestones or get media attention, demand for their cards can spike, pushing prices higher. The condition of the card is another big factor. A card in mint condition, with sharp corners and no stains, is worth more than one with creases or damage. Professional grading services evaluate these cards and assign a numerical grade. The higher the grade, the more collectors are willing to pay. Rarity also influences value. Limited edition cards, error cards, or those from small print runs are more valuable because fewer copies exist. Vintage cards from the 50s and 60s are especially prized if they are rare and well preserved. The year a card was made impacts its worth too. Cards from the late 1940s to the late 1960s tend to appreciate with age. Overproduction in the 1980s and 90s flooded the market with cards, making them less valuable today. Collector trends also shift over time. As more people become interested in modern or limited edition cards, older vintage cards might lose some appeal. But if a player wins a major award or breaks a record, their cards can suddenly become more popular. Authentication and professional grading help establish trust. When a card is graded by a reputable company, buyers feel more confident paying a higher price. Combining all these factors creates a unique value for each vintage card. A rare, well-preserved rookie card of a Hall of Famer in excellent condition will always be worth more than a common card from the same era. External influences like media coverage, auction sales, and collector demographics also impact prices. When a vintage card makes headlines or sells for a record amount at auction, it can lift the entire market. Understanding these elements helps collectors decide when to buy, sell, or hold onto their cards. It's a mix of history, rarity, condition, and market trends that makes vintage sports card values change over time.